Many people who struggle with retroactive jealousy also struggle with more normal, contemporary-based jealousy. In today's video, I'm going to respond to a viewer of this channel who wants to know if you can overcome regular jealousy, regular sexual jealousy, using the same methods used to overcome retroactive jealousy. My name is Zachary Stockill, and since 2013, I've been helping men and women from all over the world overcome retroactive jealousy and save their relationships. If you'd like more information about my work or you'd like to work with me one-on-one, please visit my website at retroactivejealousy.com. For the people here for the first time, the term retroactive jealousy refers to unwanted intrusive thoughts, often obsessive curiosity, and what I like to call mental movies about your partner's past relationships and or sexual/dating history. So T writes, I struggle with retroactive jealousy, but also with regular jealousy. Like when my girlfriend's at work, I'm always concerned about what she's doing or who she's talking to. Are the same steps used to treat this? Okay, T. Thank you for your question. It's a good one. The very short answer is yes and no. It's not going to be a short answer, but my kind of gut reaction is yes, there is a lot of overlap in terms of solutions, but there are also some other steps that are necessary to take. So in terms of the overlap, obviously accepting responsibility for solving this problem is absolutely paramount. Stopping doing the things that are actually feeding into this problem, such as, I don't know, checking your partner's phone, stalking their social media, looking for constant reassurance, that kind of thing. Learning all the methods to overcome unwanted intrusive thoughts, often that's involved in overcoming more contemporary-based jealousy, as well as, of course, retroactive jealousy. Addressing the underlying source of your symptoms. Is this more of a you problem that you've carried around for all of your life, or are there incompatibilities in the relationship, perhaps, that are rearing their ugly head? So yes, a lot of the same practical steps, practical solutions in terms of dealing with intrusive thoughts and obsessive curiosity and all that, not making the problem worse. All of that's very important, and a good coach or therapist can help you with that. But in terms of how it might be different, here are a few thoughts. So number one at the top of the list, I think it's very good to get potentially an outside opinion on whether there's a lot of smoke, but there's also some fire. In other words, I've dealt with some people in the past, some clients, where they were dealing with jealousy, like real sexual jealousy in their relationship. They'd be worried what their partner was doing when they weren't together. They'd be worried about this, they'd be worried about that. And on a coaching call, we start digging a little deeper, or I start digging a little deeper, trying to get a sense of what the relationship's like, what the partner's like. And it turns out that there's a lot of smoke, but there's also some fire. In other words, maybe this person's wife or girlfriend thrives off of all kinds of random male attention and is extremely flirtatious and I would say disrespectful to her partner by endlessly flirting with other guys or things like this, things that are genuine red flags. Then, in that case, I would say if you have communicated your boundaries clearly, if you've laid out what's okay with you, what's not, what you're willing to accept, what's not, if you've laid all that out with your partner and they're still just completely obliterating those boundaries on a regular basis, there's nothing you can do about that. You can't do anything to manage your jealousy per se because your jealousy is not irrational. Again, there's a lot of smoke, but there's also a lot of fire there. So that just might mean you're in the wrong relationship. Now, of course, if you have a partner who's violating your boundaries and who's actually giving you reasonable cause for concern, sometimes people can change. Of course, I'm in the business of helping to facilitate personal change, so I feel strongly about that. But sometimes people won't change. And you give them second chance, third chance, fourth chance, fifth chance, and eventually it's like, you know what, this person is who they are, and I'm not willing to accept it, so it's time to move on. So I guess what I'm saying here is, do whatever you need to do to get an outside opinion, whether it's a coach, therapist, close friend, family member. Lay out the situation, lay out your concerns, and then you can hopefully understand, like, am I crazy here? Is there reason for me to be jealous? Because sometimes there is. That said, if you've done that, if you have a decent handle that, you know what, this is my problem, not my partner's problem, of course, a lot of the same steps used in overcoming retroactive jealousy apply. And honestly, I would say number one at the top of the list, stop doing what doesn't work. By that, I mean, if you're endlessly interrogating your partner, going through their phone, checking their social media endlessly, all those things, get clear that this actually is not helping you solve the problem over the long term. If you're harassing your partner, if you're endlessly interrogating them about who, where they are and where they're going and who they're with and all that stuff, maybe you'll get some temporary comfort or satisfaction from that. but it won't last over the long term. And in truth, it's actually feeding a dangerous cycle that you need to stop as soon as possible to escape from that cycle. This is something I see all the time when it comes to overcoming retroactive jealousy, but also with people dealing with more normal jealousy. And that is, if they would just simply stop doing what isn't working, the problem would get at least like 50% better, which is not nothing, right? Quite often when we're dealing with a problem like this, if we would just stop digging our own grave, things would really start to improve. So those are some very big kind of generalized advice, which is all I can offer, obviously, in this kind of a situation where we're not on a coaching call, etc. But get clear, basically, if this is a you problem or fundamentally a them problem, and then get clear on what isn't working, and for God's sake, stop doing that. Aside from that, it's time to question where this jealousy could be coming from. If you've identified that this is really a me problem, it's time to get clear on where that's coming from. And again, a good coach, a good therapist can be absolutely invaluable for that kind of work. Maybe there are some deep, dark childhood wounds that you haven't entirely exposed that could be contributing to this problem. Maybe you've been betrayed in the past by another man or another woman, whatever. It's time to start doing the internal work necessary to get a handle on the source of these feelings, because it's really only when you get a handle on the source of your feelings that you can start to transcend them. And I always say, sunlight is the best disinfectant. A lot of people don't want to do that kind of internal work because it can be painful. But if you don't do that internal work, if you don't get clear on the source of feelings or the source of dynamics that you're trying to change, you're destined to live with them, sometimes for the rest of your life. And who wants that? So don't shy away from this work. It's really important, and you're only going to be able to build the life, the future, and the relationship you want once you start doing it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you benefited from this video, please take a moment to let me know by clicking the like button below. You can also leave a comment, tell me what you think, and please be sure you are subscribed to my channel. Many, many people watch these videos, and a tiny, tiny, tiny percentage of you are actually subscribed. So do me a favor, click subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that stuff, and I'll talk to you again very soon.